All right, we're going to start the clip with one of the most viral videos of Hassan Piker right now, where he's, well, let's just play it.
Is not great.
It's not great.
Okay. I mean, it's bullshit.
Is it?
But still not great that, you know, they're after your boy.
F-A-F-O. Hassan Piker is in the F-O phase. Federal officials have served subpoenas to Hassan Piker and Code Pink co-founder Susan Medina Benjamin as part of a wider investigation into whether U.S. organizations and leaders violated U.S. laws and sanctions in supporting Cuba's communist regime. So the investigation allegedly involves up to 40 U.S. participants tied to the Cuba convoy. It's a request for information. Now, background, if you don't know, Code Pink and others organized a trip to Cuba in March 2026 that Hassan Piker joined. They framed it as humanitarian aid in response to U.S. pressure on Cuba under the Trump administration. Because let's side with the communist government that starves their people and is in bed with Iranian proxy groups like Hezbollah over the American government. That's a great idea, a winning idea, a bunch of American-hating geniuses there. The trip was called Our America Convoy. And get this, while they were on their trip, Cuba experienced multiple nationwide blackouts because they're in an energy crisis, and millions of Cubans were left without power. But not the activists, not the champagne socialists. They stayed in 5-star hotels and had power. They met with communist officials. They streamed propaganda blaming America and Trump for Cuba's collapse, all under the disguise of aid.
I'm here in Havana, Cuba right now on a humanitarian aid mission. My goal here today is to bring awareness to what my government, the United States of America, has done to the Cuban population. One of the most ridiculous embargoes of all time that has only gotten more deadly as time has gone on.
Everything's always America's fault. Isn't it exhausting? And who the F were they aiding? It wasn't the people of Cuba without power. They were aiding the government. They were working with the government to blame Trump and Americans for people suffering in Cuba under communism, which is what they're trying to implement in the United States. So that's insane. And if you don't believe me that they were working with the government, why don't we just listen to Hassan Piker in his own words? And what I love so much about this is Hassan he just keeps telling on himself. There's not much investigation that needs to go on here because Hassan's just yapping about it on the internet.
I want to go to Cuba. Would you be down?
I fucking love Cuba.
Oh yeah, you'd be down?
Yeah, I filmed a documentary there once.
The Cuban government actually hit my contact from the embassy and told him that if the only thing stopping us from coming to Cuba was the consistent internet access, we can make it happen.
Yeah, Cuba is sick.
Wait, the government reached out to you?
So yeah, of course. It's well, not reached out to me. There's there's a middleman there. Because I had a doctor from Cuba. Cuba does this thing called medical missions, and they've been doing it since I believe like the 70s. And it's incredibly successful. They have a massive, very robust like medical program because kind of they have to because they're under an incredible sanctions regime by the United States of America that the rest of the world thinks is abhorrent, except for America and Israel that keep consistently vetoing it over and over again.
It's like so exhausting. If they love these countries so much, why don't they go live there? So they're working with the government because he just said so, as their asset. I don't know. And Susan and Hassan Piker, the co-founder of Pink, Susan Benjamin, are among those caught in a federal inquiry into whether activists who traveled to Cuba in March violated U.S. sanctions laws through financing, coordination, or delivery of goods to Cuba, including potential contacts with Cuban government personnel or entities on the island. If you don't know about Code Pink was founded by Neville Roy Singham's wife, Jody Evans. And Singham is a tech billionaire with very well-documented and known ties to the CCP. He pours hundreds of millions of dollars into U.S. profits via dark money channels, shell companies, and donor-advised funds. Code Pink organizes rallies like the No Kings protest and pro-Palestine protest and anti-Trump protest and pro-migration and open borders. They even organized a China is not our enemy campaign. I'm fairly certain China would beg to differ. Seriously, if it were up to these people, we'd fall to communism and totally lose our freedoms. Basically, all the chaos that happens in our country and whatever the left's cause of the week is a highly organized protest, and people are usually paid to protest through organizations like Code Pink. And they always have ties to our enemies. They're always funded by our enemies. Welcome to the Democratic Party. It's a terrifying state of affairs. Okay, listen to what Hassan Piker has to say about Code Pink's involvement, because again, he's always telling on himself.
I think that ultimately the target is probably Singham and his operation, from PSL to Answer Coalition to Code Pink, like anything that he has ever financed. And it's not new. It's been around for a while, but it's obviously it's held through regardless, because like it's ridiculous, right? It's like totally fucking ridiculous to try and you know, to try and stop like the political advocacy of an American citizen, right? Roy Singham is an American citizen. He lives in China now, and he's a centimillionaire. I think he like has almost $1 billion. Not sure how much money he has now, but like he's been a funding vehicle for a lot of like political movements in the country, like a lot of activism. And they hate that shit. Like the American government hates that shit. So they're trying to jam him up. You know, they're trying to hit him on anything and everything they possibly can.
There's so many layers of hypocrisy here. I thought they hated the rich. The ideological inconsistencies of Marxism and communism never ceases to amaze me. Ever. They hate the rich, but it's okay if they're on their side and funding their protests. They think it's BS that America is involving themselves in, you know, Chinese funded propaganda against the United States, that they're doing an investigation into it. But then the people of the governments that they're aligning themselves with, they can't protest. They'll kill them. They'll kill them in Cuba if you're protesting and if you're out. And then why is a billionaire in China funding activism in the United States? Why is a billionaire in China funding activism that aligns with CCP messaging? Why is he involved in creating political operations here? Because it's a foreign op. Enemy-funded propaganda that people fall for because they follow idiots like Hassan Piker. And before we move on, I have to play this video from Olivia DiNucci, who is Code Pink's Washington, D.C. coordinator.
Yesterday, Fox News came out with a DOJ report saying that individuals and organizations are going to be investigated for our Cuba solidarity work. They listed me individually, saying that I am a girl next door basketball player who's part of this. I think it goes to show that we are everyday people who are in solidarity with everyday people in Cuba, Palestine, Iran, Congo, and in our own neighborhoods here. We raise money for life-affirming aid like medical supplies, food, because these blockades and these bombs with our tax dollars are creating. We are creating crisis, and we as individuals are taking a responsibility to combat that. They are trying to scare us, and in fact, it's only activated us to take more direct action, to raise more funds that go to health products and to food, and to be in deeper solidarity with people across the world. We are everyday people, healthcare workers, teachers, artists, parents, students, waitresses, shopkeepers. There is room for everyone in this movement. Join us. Do not be afraid, but continue to act in radical love as we go after these devastating policies.
Radical love. Radical love. Really? Why is she wearing a keffiyeh? You know who wears keffiyehs? Terrorists. Not the everyday people of Iran that are suffering under the regime, not the women of Gaza who have been raped by Hamas, not the everyday people of Cuba. No, the people oppressing are the ones wearing the keffiyeh. Iran's proxy groups, they're wearing the keffiyeh. Hamas in Palestine wearing the keffiyeh. Hezbollah in Cuba, the IRGC in Iran, they're all wearing the stupid keffiyeh. So why are the free women in the West aligning themselves with the terrorists who are oppressing women? The everyday women in these countries that she's talking about would do anything for the freedom that she was born into and doesn't appreciate. They support President Trump and our military action in their countries. They hate their governments because they are not free under them. This is the dumbest thing that liberal women do. It's a slap in the face to the women suffering around the world. It's a slap in the face to the men and women who have died for our rights and our freedoms. And honestly, it's a slap in the face to the women's suffrage movement. And it's literally retarded. It's retarded. It's so dumb.